Yes, indeed. Let's go. Tuesday edition Daily Ticket. It is a gorgeous day in the Delaware Valley. Hello, everybody. Sean Brace and Luke Arcaini riding co-pilot, riding shotgun for the opening hour. I'll be joined by Sean Bernard, talk a little Sixers and NBA and look back at the first week of the NBA regular season. And we're off and running. Hello, Luke.
What's going on, Sean? We had a World Series that was once promising, and now I think I want the Rangers and the Diamondbacks back. That at least had a little more life to it, man. Holy crap. That at least had a walk. I mean, like, come on.
Well played.
Like,
well played.
Good Lord. This thing is boring. Yankees stink.
A little bit of a dud. And it's looking like that the World Series favorite going into the season is going to win it all. And, of course, I'm talking about the L.A. Dodgers. Luke, a lot to discuss. We're going to mix it up. We got some NFL. Super Bowl is back on for the Eagles. And, of course, as I said, just some NBA mixing in with you as well. But we have to open up with what is taking place on the diamond. Luke Arcaini did a fabulous job, still continuing, does a fabulous job covering all things MLB, Phillies, and the league for us here on The Gambler. And, yeah, let's just start with it. Look, I had a little bit of a contrarian take, and I did it because more money to be made. And I said, you know, everybody's saying 6 at the minimum. They could see 7, and I just felt like a lot would have to shake out for us to get to 7 games, of course. And I didn't see the Yankees having it. I just felt like the big bopper bats would be there, and I was wrong on that with Judge. But other than that, just I had more confidence in the Dodgers lineup, more confidence in Walker Buehler. And I do want to say this as a caveat, too, because I'm not, look, you can go back and listen to everything we said. It's all podcasted at foxphlgambler.com. It did come down to Garrett Cole. If Garrett Cole got game 1, we're looking at a much different series. That's obvious. It didn't happen, and it made me feel real comfortable about my prediction of 5 games. Dodgers in 5 at plus 650. I don't think I'm going to hit that. I think we're breaking out the brooms tonight. I think the Yankees are absolutely cooked at this point in time mentally. I think the fans might turn on them tonight. Judge is like, they're treating Judge like he's some 9-hole hitter and not one of the greatest players to ever put on that uniform. And I mean that. Now, look, there's levels. There's always levels because the Yankees have had 1,000,001 hitters that have produced in World Series and playoff games, and Judge hasn't done that. And that's fair to critique, to criticize. But to bury this man like he's not trying, that's a little suspect in it. And it makes me like laugh a little bit as like the Yankee fan is the greatest fan out there. Nah, you guys are crapping on your big time player who's literally the main piece of why you're at this spot to begin with. But your thoughts on game 3 last night, your thoughts on breaking out the broom, and your thought on Judge's struggles.
Yeah, for Judge, it's just like right now, I don't know what you can do as a Yankees fan. Like, I don't think they should
standing ovation.
Apparently they tried that last night and it still didn't work. No. Apparently that was done last. I didn't see it. Like, I don't really think they showed it that much, but apparently like I did see it. They somewhat tried it last night.
Okay.
Obviously didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like if the Phillies got to the World Series and say Trey Turner was hitting the ball like Juan Soto is right now, and Bryce Harper was 6 for 43 in the playoffs with 20 strikeouts, I don't know what I'd be saying about Bryce Harper either. Like this was finally your year for the Yankees. And even though it's the Dodgers, like this is your year to do it with Judge and Soto and Stanton hitting the ball like he's been hitting. And Rizzo's hitting the ball well in the playoffs. Torres is hitting the ball well. And your guy who goes out and hits 50-something home runs every year is striking out at a 48% clip. It is like incredibly frustrating if I was a Yankees fan. I don't like it. It would just be, I would be down in the freaking dumps. And I mean, you said you needed a good start from Garrett Cole. I mean, you got that. Like, you got a 6-inning, 4-hit, 1 earned run outing from Cole. Maybe you needed him to go 7-8. But I mean, the reason you lost game 1 is because Aaron Boone brought in Nestor Cortez, who hasn't pitched in a month and a half, to freaking Freddie Freeman in the 9th inning with the bases loaded. Like, I mean, I don't think you can ask much more from Garrett Cole in that game. This
No.
playoffs, he has an ERA under 3. He's looked pretty good. Like I don't know what the answer is for the Yankees right now. Like it's just they're just down in the dumps. They're basically about as dead as you can be.
Oh, yeah.
I will say I think their best matchup to win a game so far is tonight.
It's got to be.
I mean, it has to be. They have Luis Hill out there.
Yep.
I believe LA has basically a bullpen game going tonight. I mean, this is the night where the Yankees need to hit like they did all year. Like if you can't go out tonight and win a World Series game against a Dodgers bullpen, then I mean, I would be
almighty
I'd be
equalizer.
off the grid. I would be off the grid.
The almighty equalizer. Are you willing to lay minus 150 tonight on the Yankees?
I mean, the matchup tells you yes, the series doesn't though. So like I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna bet much on the game. I just like it. Like you'd think they'd win. Like you'd think they'd go out against the bullpen down 3-0 at home and like come out and maybe like somebody do something on offense. But I don't know. Like nobody is like showed it. It just doesn't seem like they're in the same league as the Dodgers right now.
Dodgers are very comfortable. Dodgers have had some really good pitching as well. And I thought Walker Buehler was awesome last night. Again, you know, Walker Buehler's just got some good stuff. And I'm a huge Walker Buehler fan, and it's shame that he had to deal with the injuries in the last 2 years. It happens though. But the fact that he's been able to dial it back or to go back in time and revisit that Walker Buehler that I thought he could be in the game against the Padres or the Mets, excuse me. And then what he showed last night, big time spot. They were catching plus money, plus 130. And you know what, Luke? I think it's important for everybody that's wagering, if they are thinking about getting involved tonight. Yesterday, point blank, I said, like, really, man, am I saying the Dodgers are going to go up 3-0? Because I liked Buehler. I liked the Dodgers to win last night. They were plus 130, loved the number. And I kind of was allowing the series to get involved, to get in the way of the matchup, the game itself.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I decided to say, you know what, dude, put that to the side. Who cares? 3-0, 3-0, 2. Like, Dodgers are winning tonight. And I think that if you are wagering on the game tonight, that's how you have to approach it. And it's not to say, hey, look what's happened these 3 games. Sure, there's some. I think you need to take the way the judge is struggling, right? Like that's obviously still going to continue. I don't see him breaking out into some tonight. Could happen. We'll see. Baseball's crazy. But in the grand scheme of things tonight, I'm riding with you here. Maybe we don't break out the brooms. And guess what? I have a little small sprinkle, nothing crazy. I did it for the sake of the show. And Dodgers in 5 at plus 650. So if that's the case, again, they got to win tomorrow night as well, game 5. But yeah, I think I'm with you tonight. I think tonight, if you're playing, you got to take the Yankees here.
I do too. I just like you like I don't know. I just like even with how they've been playing, I just can't see them going out getting swept. Like and if they do, then this Dodgers team is damn good. But I mean, minus 148 right now. It's a bit of a higher number, but I mean, it almost feels like that number should be more in the Dodgers' favor with how the series has gone. So I'll probably ride with the Yankees tonight. They just can't get swept. Like you can't go out there against a bullpen game at home and get swept. And listen, they probably can, because if they play like they have the first 3 games, then they probably will get swept. But it's just, if you're looking at this from a betting perspective, I think the play honestly just sort of has to be the Yankees.
So I think one of the things you would look at would be Shohei and what you believe you could get from him moving forward. To me, I know he was up there yesterday. It clearly is looking like to me that it's going to be something that's going to bother him, and it should. What was he 0 for 3 yesterday? I want to say, if I'm not mistaken.
He's had a pretty not so great of a postseason.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough now to lay that out. Like first 2 games, sure. But you know, he still has that pop that he could possibly get into it. But I'm not gonna touch anything Shohei, but I do want to point the finger at Freddie Freeman.
Got to run with Freddie, dude. You got to keep running with Freddie.
And when I looked at the odds for MVP, I think he was 35-1 to open up the series. He is now, yesterday he was plus 100, so you could have got him at plus money. And we all knew he was leader in the clubhouse, of course. I was making the case on yesterday's daily ticket of how could Freddie lose this, right? If the Dodgers continue to win, how would anybody else jump in front of Freddie Freeman? And the only one I had was Teoscar Hernandez going absolutely berserk and hitting 2-3 home runs, or your boy, Edmund possibly doing his thing as well. But again, it was Freddie Freeman's, and I kind of did make the pitch that even money was, or plus money, plus 100 was probably even money, excuse me, to the number that you want to go ahead and jump on if you wanted to get involved in the award chase. He's now minus 1,800 after what he did yesterday. Yeah. He's your World Series MVP, bar none.
I mean, there's not even a single other question of who it would be. He's now homered, I believe, in 5 straight World Series games. Wow. The dude's just, the dude's just an animal. He's just, and it's funny too. Other than his home runs, he only has one other hit the entire series, and it was
triple?
Game 1.
And the triple.
I believe, it was the triple, homer. Game 2, he had one hit. It was the homer. And then Game 3, he had one hit, which was the homer. So like, it's really been just like home run or bust. He hasn't really been walking. He's just getting the big hit. Just been an absolute monster, especially now with basically no Shohei. I mean, he's in there, but we know he's not really 100%. He's just been exactly what the Dodgers have needed, because you have Mookie, you have Shohei, you have Hernandez, but if they could have a hot Freddie, and I think we said this like heading into this series, you know what you get from Mookie, you know what you get from Shohei, but if you can get a big series from one of Hernandez or Freeman, then it's going to be pretty hard for that lineup to lose, and I mean that's exactly what we've seen.
Well, hopefully it does. Look, I don't care either way. What's today? Today's Tuesday, so that means we get a Game 5 on Wednesday night. Yeah, I'll take that. So give me a Game 5 on Wednesday night, so we got a little something. You should
want the Game 5 at this point.
Yeah, want the Game 5. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, but at the end of the day, I think the Yankees do force a Game 5 here. So I will back the Yankees in this one. Go a hill to at least give them a good outing to start, and then maybe Soto and Stan could bomb their way to a couple runs there. And Judge, look, baseball's fickle, and I'm not going to sit here and say that this guy can't turn it around in one game, right? So he's been atrocious. But back on Freddie Freeman, you did point out 5 straight World Series games. He is the 3rd player in World Series history to homer in each of the first 3 games in the series. Hank Bauer of the Yankees in 58 and Barry Bonds in 02, and they lost that series. That's crazy. The Giants in that series. So look, Freddie Freeman's putting himself up there. We know how great of a player he is. It's just funny from the MVP award perspective to see what he's been able to do. And I'll tell you what, he's a guy that I've always liked.
Yeah.
Even when he was with Atlanta, I think everybody would say the same stuff. We know what the deal was with this kid this year. Pretty special moment there. But, allow me to bring the Phillies into this conversation.
Oh, God.
It's like there's the bar, Luke.
Yeah.
There's the bar. Go down that Dodgers lineup. Go down that pitching staff, right? Like they spare no expense. They turn over every rock. Takes 2 to tango. A lot of those players want to go to LA. We know the market. We know the weather, the fan base. Like, dude, that's the bar right now. And I know that the Phillies aren't cheap. They're a top 5 payroll in baseball. But, man, they have to land some of these big-name free agents, if they're even available this offseason, to get to the LA Dodgers. Or else, I don't know. I just think it might be the Dodgers season again next year. I know we got a long way to go. But and I'm not necessarily saying it's got to be Juan Soto or bust. It'd be great. But I just don't see Juan Soto leaving New York. I just think he's going to either end up with the Yankees or the Mets are going to give him the blank check, right? We know how Steve Cohen is. But, like, what is your take on that from the Dodgers setting the bar and how far off, fair or unfair, the Phillies are at this point in time?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at it, like, from a wide perspective, I think most teams are farther away from the Dodgers than we think they are. I think you can make your arguments for some teams, but when it comes down to it, there's not a team that's going to beat the Dodgers in a 7-game series based off of skill. And I don't really think it's close. I mean, there's teams that can catch lightning in a bottle against them, but like if you put their skill up against the other 29 teams in the league, 31, whatever it is, I don't think any team beats them. It's just they're top heavy. They have guys in the back that can do damage. They have the pitching. They have the bullpen, and I don't think their bullpen's really anything to write home about this year. Like I think they went on their nice run. I think they have a good bullpen, but I don't think it's some like elite playoff bullpen that they have this year. They've just been finding ways. They've been finding guys just to do jobs. The Phillies just need to really think about what they want to be, I think, because like if they want to go out next year and they want to win the NL East and go to the playoffs and then see what happens from there, I mean, they can do that. But like they need to go into the offseason saying that on opening day, we're going to have a roster that can beat the Dodgers in a 7-game series. And whether that's Juan Soto, whether that's Hernandez from the Dodgers leaving, whether that's a guy like Anthony Santander, but it's not just that top guy. It's they have to find the middle pieces. They have to find the relievers. They have to find that last starter that can give you innings when maybe one of your guys is down. It just seems like the Dodgers always have somebody up, whether it's if somebody goes down or if somebody's not performing, they have a guy that's going to fill right in. The Phillies don't have that. So they need to go into the offseason just really thinking about sort of how they want to compete next year, because obviously their goal is to win the World Series. But your goal can't be to get top heavy with stars only and just hope that they're hot when you get there. Like you need to know throughout the season that this team can win the World Series, because there was obviously, like we know, multiple times this regular season where a lot of people have said this team is not good enough. And you know, we've sat there and we said, oh, well, they still have the best record in baseball. Oh, well, they still have this, but they were practically under 500 since the London series. So like they have to go into this offseason saying we have to build a full baseball team. And listen, I would love for them to get Juan Soto. Like it would be incredible. But if you get Juan Soto, it can't be the only thing you get. Like you can't go out and get Juan Soto and say, all right, we're done. Like you have to go get bullpen. You have to go find another guy that can come off the bench. Not anything crazy. Like the Phillies need to learn that not every player you sign that's going to make an impact has to be an $18 million contract or a $72 million contract for a fifth starter or a $9 million utility contract for a guy that you DFA in July. Like, find the guys, make some trades for guys that are on the market. Like, build this team as a whole like the Dodgers have, because this roster the Dodgers have is going to win, probably not just this year. They're going to keep winning with this current roster they have.
Alec Boehm, of course, at the third base position. You got to start with him, and whether or not you think he's enough and if he can raise his level of play, because even though he was an all-star this year, did he have a good enough season? I know the tale of two halves for the team in general, right? As you just pointed out, but I feel like he dropped off, especially come playoff time. Is he enough that you can bank on? Because third base is a position that you need to improve on, in my mind. I just don't know. Like, if you think Alec Boehm can improve, then there's your third baseman, right? I just don't know if that's the case for Alec Boehm at this point.
That's him, but I mean, at one point he had an OPS this year over 1,000, and he finished the season with a 779. Ooh, so like, it's just that I think Boehm's your big one, because I think they understand that. I don't think Boehm's going to be here forever, especially with Aiden Miller eventually in the wings.
And Boris is his agent.
Yeah, I don't want to give Boehm some big, huge contract. One, I don't think he's earned it. Two, I don't think it would be the smart thing for this team. I think your best thing with Boehm is either sort of letting him walk maybe trying to find some sort of a trade and going to get a rental. Go look for an Alex Bregman type of guy. Go look for something in that range. Go look for a third baseman that's going to be an impact bat the entire season and in the playoffs. Find a bat that can consistently get on base. They need multiple of those this offseason. They need an outfielder that can get on base, not just hit home runs and strike out 40% of the time and only be able to hit right-handed pitching. Go find guys that can get on base. Go find guys that can find different ways to get on base, right? I mean, you've seen this Dodgers lineup.
Kike Hernandez. Hernandez is a guy that he's been he's been in playoff games his whole career. Now I know
one of the most underrated playoff guys ever.
Absolutely.
Just goes out there, lays a bunt down, rips a hit to right field, just finds ways. That's all you have to do in the playoffs. If you put the ball in play in the playoffs, things are going to happen. It's just you can't go into the playoffs home run or bust, doubles or bust, and just swing for the it's just not going to work. You've seen it with the Yankees. It doesn't work. You can't expect Aaron Judge to just hit home runs all year, and when he's not hitting home runs in the playoffs, be able to hit a ball in the right field, be able to hit a ball down the line. It just, if you fall into such a certain way of your offense, once you get to the playoffs, you can't have an offense that has to change. This is how the Dodgers have hit all year. They've gotten the ball in the gaps. They've hit the ball down the line. They've sacked, bunted. Granted, they're still hitting home runs. The Dodgers still hit home runs, but they don't only hit home runs. And that's what these teams need to realize, is that you have to have an all-around approach in baseball now, because you can't just slug your way to a World Series championship anymore.
Bohm is under contract for 2 more seasons. 2026 is his last year, so that's something to keep inventory on. He did have back-to-back seasons of hitting 100 runs in. He has improved defensively. I'm not trying to turn the page on him, but you need more. And can you get more from Alec Bohm, I guess, is the question. He's going to have an opportunity to show it. They're not going to move off of him this offseason. I don't know. I don't think so. So.
Nah,
he's under contract.
Not. Yeah. No. I mean, I don't necessarily think they're going to offer him any sort of extension.
Correct.
But I mean, he's 28. He's been in the league for 5 years now. This will be his 6th season.
He should improve next year, right? It depends. He could, if he very easily struggle and not have that type of season, understood. But look, I think he's going to get more comfortable at the plate.
I hope.
It's just a major part. Like you said about the outfield, I definitely agree with you on that one. Yeah, Juan Soto would look great in a Phillies uniform, but at the end of the day, it's going to go to the highest bidder. And I don't know if the Phillies are going to be able to bid with the Dodgers, with the Padres, with the Mets, with the Yankees. To me, how the hell do you let him out of a Yankee uniform? George Steinbrenner, I know we joke about this, but man, he's got to be rolling in his grave if you don't have enough money to pay Juan Soto.
Yeah, I mean, letting that guy walk after that sort of performance from your other star, if you think letting Juan Soto walk and leaving Aaron Judge to be the lone star in the playoffs is going to help you win a World Series, you're out of your goddamn mind.
Yeah,
Juan Soto is. If Juan Soto wasn't on this team, they wouldn't be in the World Series.
No.
I mean, this dude, if you go down and you look at this dude's he's a 4-time All-Star. He's a 4-time Silver Slugger. He has a batting title. He's already won a World Series. He has a career 953 OPS with 160 OPS plus. He has 201 homers already. He just turned 26 4 days ago. He's 26. Sean, he'd be the youngest player in the Phillies starting lineup from Game 4 or from Game 5. Yeah. He's younger than Stott. He's younger than Bohm. He's younger than Marsh. He's not younger than Rojas. Rojas would be the only player. Johan Rojas would be the only player that started a game for the Phillies in the playoffs that is younger than Juan Soto.
Older than Juan Soto. That is
Stott Alec
Crazy.
Boehm is multiple years older than Juan Soto. Bryson Stott is a year older. Brandon Marsh is older. Everyone other than Johan Rojas in that lineup is older. Marsh and him are the same age, but Marsh will be older once his birthday.
That's crazy.
So it's like I don't think people understand that. Like,
no,
everyone's like, oh, this Juan Soto guy had been in the league, blah blah blah. Yeah, he'd be the youngest player in the lineup on opening day. He would be the only player. If you went into next year's opening day, if you had a lineup with Soto in it and no Rojas, he'd be the only player in the starting lineup that's 26 years old.
Crazy. Well, that definitely made my mouth drop there. So nice work by you on that one, Luke Arcaini. All right, we will move off of the Phillies. And again, Major League or World Series tonight, Game 4, back in the Bronx. Sweep or no sweep, Luke Arcaini?
I'm going to go no sweep. I think the Yankees win tonight, and I think you hit Dodgers in 5 plus 650.
Nice. All right. Give me a player on the Yankees that we are looking at besides Juan Soto. Well, I mean, if there's a number that catches your attention, plus 340 for Juan Soto to hit home run. I'm not really feeling the home runs. I'm more of the combo, total bases, that sort of deal, hits, all that. So, with that being said, give me a Yankee player besides Juan Soto that you are looking at for this.
Let's look at that
to get something
as
going.
As far as bases. I've been really liking Glaber this whole series. Honestly, really the whole playoffs. He's had a really nice playoff so far. I'll probably roll with Glaber. I cannot back Aaron Judge. Just cannot do it. I would maybe look at Stanton. I would probably look at Glaber and Stanton tonight. Multiple hits for Stanton is plus 310. On DraftKings right now. Yeah, I mean, as far as bases, I'd probably look at Soto, but I would probably look at Soto, Glaber, Stanton as far as Yankees tonight. Just please, if you're listening to this, don't try and be the smartest man in the room and bet Aaron Judge. Don't. Just please do not do it.
Allow him, bet the Yankees to win, and if Judge has a day, it's only going to help you there. I do like Torres, 2+ total bases here, plus 150 on DraftKings. I also can get down with Stanton. I like where your mind is at on Stanton too as well, 2+ at plus 125 there. Stanton could rip a home run really easy or a double. One at bat's all it takes. And Torres had a great game one, has been hitless in his last 2, so no better time than right now to find the bases this evening in the Bronx. All right, keeping it moving. Once again, Luke Arcaini hanging out with us for hour number 1 on the Daily Ticket. Let's get on over to the NFL. Luke, what do you say? Last night,
we got a little news here as we were talking. The Colts have benched Anthony Richardson. Joe Flacco will start this week. And Stephon Diggs has a torn ACL and is out for the season for Houston.
Wow. I'll take the Diggs one first because we were talking about that yesterday. Jansen brought that up. I did not see it during the game on Sunday. That's a big loss because remember, obviously, what took place in the offseason, but they're dealing with no Nico Collins. And my guy Tank Dell is not the same. He got shot in the offseason. Like, let's put things in proper perspective, right? Like, this isn't your run-of-the-mill injury here that he's dealing with. He got shot. He has not been the same player at all this year. I was high on Tank Dell, and it's just a shame because the kid he's really talented. I know he had 4 grabs for 35 yards in the previous game, but he hasn't done much. He's had like 1 or 2 games that's been like, oh, there he is. Now he's going to be asked to do a lot, and I just don't see that happening. I've been disappointed in totality of the Houston Texans offense, getting the production that they get from Joe Mixon, mainly throwing the football with CJ Stroud. I wish they would open it up more, but they have been reluctant to do so. And maybe they're holding on. Maybe they're just about winning ball games, which they continue to do. But I think CJ Stroud can really be lethal if you allow him to open it up. And it hasn't been the case. But again, when your big time receivers are getting hurt, one after one after one, it's understood. So maybe that's a little something to weave into that conversation. From the Indianapolis over to the Indianapolis Colts, and it's because of that division is still up for grabs.
I was just going to say, Sean, that They're 11-1 to win the division right now, the Colts.
They're not going to.
They're not going to.
They're playing.
But
they're playing for the division. They're playing for, to make something of this season. Jim Irsay, damn well how he operates. I'm sure in the back of their mind, it's all about Anthony Richardson. This is his 10th start or the weekend. 10th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On two hands, we can count. Like, that's not enough to say we know what he is. It's time to get rid of him. No, but maybe the best thing for him at this point in time is to see Joe Flacco go out there and run this offense the way he's been able to do when his number was called upon. So I don't want to bury Anthony Richardson for the one play. It happened. We've never seen it happen before. My man was tired. He shoved a defensive lineman off him, gets to the line, taps himself out. He'll never make that mistake ever again in his professional career, ever. But let's put that to the side. He's been atrocious. He's thrown like 46 completion percentage since he's returned from injury. Like, it's been bad. And when Flacco goes out there and makes him look somewhat competitive, like, you got to make that change. You got to allow those people in the building to believe that they're playing something. There's still plenty of football to be played. So I like that move by Shane Steichen. I really do. It's not the end of Anthony Richardson. It doesn't look good.
No, but I think Indy needs to also realize that, like, they're not out of this division. Like, they're not out of a playoff race. They're not out of this division. And if Joe Flacco is going to give you the best chance to win, then you have to put him out there. Like, I've been very underwhelmed with Anthony Richardson so far. He's had his, flashy moments here and there with his little rushing touchdowns, but it's been definitely more failure than success so far, which is fine. The kid's young, like, he's a young quarterback, but this team needs to understand, and it seems like they have, that, like, they're not out of this playoff race. They're not out of the division race, really. They're only like a game and a half back. Their next games are tough. I believe they have the Vikings and the Bills the next two. So definitely some harder games there, but they're not out of this playoff race at all. I mean, the games that Joe Flacco has started, they've scored over 20 points every game. Other than one, they've scored 34 and 27. Like, they're putting up points when Joe Flacco is on the field. So if that's what they need to do to keep this sort of in the mix here, if they want to stay in the mix, I think Flacco gives them the best chance to do that.
Yeah, it's hard
at
to
least
argue.
At this moment in time. I mean, maybe
Correct.
Next year. I don't think Joe Flacco's on some multi-year deal with the Colts. Like if
Who knows?
If he goes out next year, Richardson, and he looks good, or even think later in the season, that's fine. But if they want to have the best chance to win right now, I mean, it just has to be Joe Flacco.
Yeah, look, they're 4-4. Like I said, they're still in the running for the division, but they're not going to win that. We understand that. Texans got the game. That was the division game right there, right? That was the second time they played this season. So that was the division game. And you got your starting quarterback that your future is riding on tapping out. And he's getting crushed, and he should get crushed. I also want to give him a little bit of love because the dude was out there battling, right? And it's like, it's one play. Like, I don't know. It was a long third down. You can't do that, but I don't think he'll make that mistake again. I also want to point out, just because you move off him right here, right now, doesn't mean he won't play the rest of the season.
Exactly.
Like, Joe Flacco could get hurt. This season could blow up, and all of a sudden then you get him more reps. So it's not a lost cause in Anthony Richardson. Definitely disappointed, but we'll see what happens there. Once again, the Colts and Vikings would be our Sunday night game. Joe Flacco coming out to prime time. You backing him? 5-point spread, 46.5.
Back Joe Flacco.
South Jersey zone.
You will never catch me betting against Joe Flacco ever, because I lose. If I ever do, I lose. So yeah,
I did. Remember when the NFL draft was in Philly? It was 2017. I think it was the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So I was doing some stuff, and I was walking around. I was there like when it started. And I remember I was meeting a friend by the opening gates, or like there were side gates. And all of a sudden, this F-150 just pulls up. Dude gets out, no hat, sunglasses. Somebody got in the driver's seat, drove away. Joe Flacco just got dropped off, walked right through everybody. Nobody recognized him. Nobody knew who the hell it was.
He's a monster dude. He is tall.
He's a big boy. Yeah, he's a big boy. But nobody recognized him. I'm like, that's somebody.
Joe Flacco.
And I'm like, that's Joe Flacco. Yeah, that was pretty cool. All right. Let's stay in the NFL, though, Luke. Nice work with the breaking news there. Let's get on over to the Birds and, having some fun here. But last week I said if the Eagles do go up to Cincinnati and play their brand of football and explosive, and they're able to come away with let's say a double-digit win. I didn't say 20, but I said win by double digits. I could see people starting to hit the fast forward button and essentially joke, wink, wink, the Super Bowl is back on. And it's hysterical. It's what's happened. I saw people at radio stations in Philadelphia. The same people that were ripping them last week are the ones saying Super Bowl this week. Nationally, too, you see a lot of that as well. It's fine. It's the NFL. It brings us all back to our childhood when we talk about these teams. But the Eagles are 7.5-point favorites against the Jags. 4:05 start on Sunday. Once again, bumped to 4:05. The return of Doug Peterson at the Link. Is this the second game that they played?
Yes.
At the Link? It's crazy.
Yeah, he came back for one a few years
No, I'm
ago.
talking about just the Eagles at home.
Oh, Eagles.
Falcons,
Browns. Yeah.
Third game.
Browns.
Third.
That's it.
So here we are, 7.5. Look, that was a great game they played on the road in Cincinnati. And Saquon gave you 22 carries for $108. Great. Look, in a great box score game. Like, you'll take that 100% of the time.
Absolutely.
To me, I think Saquon was kind of limited, right? Like, if we're honest with ourselves, there were a couple times where I'm like, man, if he could just break that. He did get one that he broke down the sideline. But this team right now, Jalen Hurts, the way he's seeing the field, getting everybody involved, offensive line playing to a strength here again. Saquon, if you can get him going a little bit more and just allowing him to break a few of those, watch out. Yeah, damn right this team can go ahead and make some noise come the NFC Championship or NFC playoffs. But we're a long way to go, so let's focus on the 7.5 against the Jags. What's your thoughts going into this game on Sunday?
I freaking love that number. I think it should be way higher. The Jags I don't think the Jags are good at all. They now don't have Kirk. They don't have Brian Thomas Jr. They're down to like one receiver. Who knows what ETN's doing? All they really have right now is whatever you get from Lawrence, and you have Tank Bigsby, and that's kind of about it. I think this Eagles offense is very much clicking at the right time. They looked like, honestly, I thought they looked like a completely different offense on Sunday. Like, they looked like a capable offense that can throw the deep ball and mix in different plays. And I think I only saw one bubble screen to Devontae Smith, so that was also progress. Hurts averaged 11.8 yards per completion, 132 rating. Like, Devontae Smith, 6 receptions, 85 yards, 5 receptions, 84 yards for AJ Brown. Grant Calcaterra has been playing really well. Like, they're just clicking everywhere. I think this defense has also looked awesome. This secondary is legit. Like, they have some dogs on this secondary right now. I think they could win this game by multiple scores, maybe 3 touchdowns. Like, I think this is a big game for the Eagles. I think this is the first home game this season where the fans know the Eagles are good. Like, they went into Green Bay. They looked iffy. Hurts looked iffy. They came home to Atlanta. They lost. They lost to Tampa Bay week 4. They had the bye week. They came out Cleveland. They barely won. Now they've won 2 really good games in a row. They're home, a daytime game at the Link with Dallas the week after. Like, I think this is a week for the Eagles to really go crazy. I think the Link's going to be rocking. I think this number should be more towards 9.5, 10, honestly. Like, I don't think this game will be close at all.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there as well. I want to give Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville a little bit of love here, but it's tough to do so this year. They haven't deserved it at all. No. And to be honest with you, Doug Peterson is really showing himself to be.
I can't believe he's still the coach of this team. Like,
he got an opportunity last week on Sunday after the game. Now, this is a game that they lost, a tough game, 30-27. It's a game that I didn't watch in great detail. I promise you that. But at the end of the day, It was a really damn close game. I believe a last-second field goal. Yeah, it was literally at the last second to win it by Brandon McManus. He got an opportunity. Like there was a final drive in the fourth quarter that Trevor led him on, and they were really good, and they ended up converting for a touchdown, whatever it was. And Doug Peterson was asked that question, like, "Hey, what'd you see from Trevor at that point in time?" Like, it was a great job getting those guys into the end zone. I think they were down Christian Kirk because he's out for
he
season.
got hurt. Yeah, he's out. Yeah,
and somebody else was hurt. So that was the
they lost
basis of
the other receiver, the rookie.
that was the Thomas Jr.
Thomas Jr.
That was the basis behind the question. Like, hey, Trevor showed you something, getting into the end zone, drive, blah, blah, blah. And Doug didn't give him at all anything. Like no love, no pat on the back, no, hey, good job. He flipped the question and goes, well, how about the offensive line? How about the other guys, the running back? How about the receivers that made the plays? Like, dude, what is going
quarterback
on?
Some love, dude. Yeah.
It's Trevor Lawrence. Like, dude, he's a number 1 overall pick, and you're treating him like he's some stiff. I know he hasn't been playing great. To some people, he's still a Hall of Famer, but understood. Like, damn, dude, know your role. Doug is definitely on the outside looking in. We know that. And it could be, hey, look, they lose to the Eagles here on Sunday by double digits. Very well could happen here.
Yeah, and I mean, holy Lord, I was just looking at their schedule. This season ain't going to get better, I'll tell you that. At the Eagles, then home versus the Vikings, then in Detroit, then home versus the Texans. The next 4 games. Eagles, Vikings, Lions, Texans. I mean, they could easily be 3-9. Like I don't see how he makes it. If he comes in here after losing that game and they get blown out and he's sitting there at 2-7, I mean, I don't know how he has a job the following week. It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to get better. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Yeah. Correct. I don't know. Like I don't think there's any reason that he should have a job still right now.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Could very well come to an end on a Sunday. Once again, Birds 7.5-point favorites here on DraftKings Sportsbook. We do have a game on Thursday night. Jets are a 1.5 favorite against the Texans. I don't know why the Jets would be favored there, but it's another desperate ball club. They're in the darkness, according to Aaron Rodgers. So we'll see what happens there. And again, from the division perspective, we got to keep our eyes on the Commanders. They got a game coming up against the Giants, 3.5. That's at 1:00 on Sunday, so we'll be able to catch that game before. Commanders 3.5-point road favorites on the road in MetLife. And then 1 on the Cowboys. Are the Cowboys off this weekend? I think the Cowboys do have. No,
the Cowboys Falcons in Atlanta, 1:00. I will say
2.5.
I think honestly, just at first glance, I think Bills -6 might be my favorite bet this week. They're at home against the Dolphins, who are 2-5, and they're only a 6-point favorite.
Dolphins are a bad football team.
Dolphins are a really bad football team. Yeah. That Browns, dude. I'm all aboard the Jameis train, dude. I am like, I can't. It's either there's 2 guys that if they're starting games, I can't bet against. It's Jameis Winston and Joe Flacco. Like something about when they go out there, dude, they just make it a game. They don't always win, but it is always a game when they're out there after they've been on the bench every time.
All right. Well, Luke Arcaini, fantastic stuff as always here, joining us for the first hour of the Daily Ticket, talking a little Phils, talking a little World Series, and mixing it up. The boy does it all. Yes, he does. We'll be getting Luke involved a lot more here throughout the course of the football season now that baseball is wrapping up, but not done just yet. So tomorrow we might be talking about a game 5, or we might be talking about a Dodgers sweep. We'll see what happens. Both of us like the Yankees to extend it 1 more. Luke Arcaini, fantastic stuff. You can find him on socials, Arcaini Luke. And as always, if you miss anything, at FoxPHLGambler.com. Coming up on the other side, perfect day to have Sean Bernard. There's drama with the Sixers still. Joel Embiid, will he see the floor for the 76ers before Thanksgiving?
I thought you were going to say before Christmas.
Could very well be the way it's playing out. We'll find out what Sean Bernard has to say about that and more from Sixers training practice, from today, where Nick Nurse just spoke to the media, but I think Daryl Morey needs to come on down and address the media as well. More on the other side with Sean Bernard. Back after this.